Hello, students. It's Mrs. Whitmoyer. I am so sorry that I had to cancel classes last minute. I had a death in the family yesterday, so I'm going to take some time off today to go be with the rest of my family. But I thank you for understanding and for your flexibility. So as you know, today is a Friday, which means most of your time in class you would have been working on assignments anyway. I did just have a little bit of review in terms of the quarter one constructed response that I did want to go over with you. So I did want to just walk through the slides briefly here this morning. So some quick schedule notes I was going to mention as well. Um, just don't forget, of course, you should remember this. I'm sure you've heard it a lot. November 3rd, next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday, is the last day of quarter one, I'm sorry. On Monday next week, we're going to review for the quarter one test. Basically, we'll be playing a quizzes review game. I will have a study guide for you. I will try to get that posted at the end of the day today so you can start looking at it over the weekend. But we'll review for that in class. That quarter one test is going to open on Monday afternoon at 2:30, similar to how our quizzes work. Tuesday and Wednesday will be in-class work days. Those will be days for you to work on the constructed response if you're not finished, the quarter one test itself, and getting those things turned in. As far as I know, I'll be in class. You can ask questions. We can chat about stuff one-on-one if you need to during those days. And then, of course, November 3rd is the last day. Thursday, November 4th is an asynchronous day, and you don't have live sessions. I'll probably just recommend that you kind of look over the course materials. Everything's basically staying the same as we move into quarter two, just with new content. So remember on Fridays, we typically talk about some review. I do have a few things to review, and especially, as I said, that constructed response, because I know many of you are, struggling with that a little bit and aren't quite sure, what I'm expecting on that. And I'm going to go over that with you in this video as well. So there was a question on the quiz from last week, week 7. This is week 7 quiz number 8 that a lot of students missed. Okay? And I just wanted to mention and kind of remind everyone of that little kite process that we've mentioned a few times in class. On a question like this, this question, that process can be very helpful, okay? Because this question has a lot of terms that, you may not know. Okay, we did talk about many of them in class, but things like the Alien and Sedition Acts. Remember we talked about those with President Adams. He passes those in response to some issues with the French and problems that were going on with the British. Remember that what they did, which I'm not going to tell you just yet, but make sure you think about things like that. Okay, as you're looking at these questions, what am I asking, right? What are you being asked to show that you know? Remember identifying terms, right? That can be even terms like controversial. Okay, controversial means something that some people support and other people don't. Okay, other terms: violation, taking away something, immigration. We've talked about that, right? People coming into the country from other nations. I'm just trying to see quickly the amendments. We've talked a lot about those, how the amendments are in the Constitution, right? They are rights that all American citizens should have. Okay, I've mentioned this before with the kite process. It can take some time, right? But in order to get to the correct answer on some questions, sometimes they'll take a little bit of time. Okay. Remember, you can refer to your textbook as well. You can also go and look at course slides. Someone asked in one of my classes yesterday, are we allowed to use the slides? Absolutely. Okay. I mentioned before, I write the quiz and test questions considering them to be open book, open note, open study guide, because really, I'm all the way out here in central Pennsylvania. I can't monitor you not using the stuff. Okay, so please, use what you've been given. This is the slide. We went over this in class. We even talked about some of those words that are related as well. And then remember, of course, try to eliminate a choice or two. Okay, this is a good tip on any multiple choice test. Okay, I will tell you, and I don't think I can easily mark it for you here on the PowerPoint, but it is option B is correct. Okay, remember the Sedition Act takes away people's right to free speech. and the Alien Acts, which are targeted towards aliens, immigrants, right? New people, foreigners in the United States. And they take away people's rights to due process, which is in the Constitution, okay, to in a speedy trial, things that, when you're accused of a crime, you're not supposed to just be thrown in jail, with little or no evidence. Okay. And so that's why people like Jefferson and Madison were very angry at Adams, and even called him a king, that he was doing these things. All right, so that was a question again. Not everybody, but a few students missed it. And it was, I think, a hard one just because of all those terms and phrases and people and all that made it trickier. In terms of vocabulary, I think I can type on this one. Yes, I can. Just to give you a quick review of that. So nationalism, we talked about that term, a strong sense of pride in and ambition for the new nation. Remember, it's kind of, patriotism on steroids, right? We're a great nation. We're going to do what we can to make ourselves even better. Okay. Impressment is what the British Navy was doing to American sailors, right? Boarding our ships, forcing them, kidnapping them essentially, and forcing them to work on the, on the British Navy ships. Okay, keeping going here. The Embargo Act is the next one. We did talk about that on Tuesday. That was that act that Jefferson passed where he tried to protect America, right, by saying we weren't allowed to trade with other nations. But it backfired on him, massive fail, led to lots of economic problems in the United States, and is probably one of the reasons Jefferson doesn't run for a third term as president. Okay. Sectionalism, this came up yesterday when we were talking about the Missouri Compromise. Sorry, I'm tired today. Talking about sectionalism, where we start to see this in the United States. And we're going to talk about this more as we lead up to the Civil War, okay, where you're more loyal to the South than the United States as a whole, or the North. Okay? And again, we're going to see that grow more and more until we get to that Civil War point. Okay? The Northwest Passage, that was related to Lewis and Clark and the Louisiana Purchase. And then there was a term on your study guide this week that we didn't really have a chance to cover in class a whole lot. I think I've mentioned this before, that unfortunately the Supreme Court, we skip over it a lot in class simply because, although it's not, I don't want to say it's not important, there's just so many other things to cover. So judicial review is the idea that the Supreme Court has the right to review laws to determine if they're constitutional or not. Now, that is their role. That's what's in the Constitution for the judicial branch. But under President Madison and Monroe and these presidents we talked about this week, they kind of fine-tune that process. What's it going to look like for the Supreme Court to review laws, right? How's that process going to go? All right, moving on. So the constructive response. Again, I think I'm up to almost 30, which is awesome. I'm so glad that so many of you have gotten that in. I do apologize. I'm going to be coming back to work again this afternoon. I'm going to try to get those graded or start working on those at least. I apologize because I haven't read any yet. But I will get to those at some point before November 3rd. But I did want to kind of just go over it again a little bit. I have some tips and suggestions on the next slide I'll share with you as well. So again, you're picking two of the colonial regions. So there's three. There's New England, or the northern, right? That's Massachusetts and the Puritans and all that. There's the middle region, which is where Pennsylvania is. Then there's the southern region, Virginia, Georgia, North and South Carolina. You need to choose two of those regions. You don't have to do all three, just pick two. And you need to talk about the economy of that region. Okay? Remember, the economy is how people make their money, right? How do the people in those colonies survive, right? What kind of things are they growing or producing, or what are people doing for work? Okay. and then explain how that economy is impacted by geography and or climate. Two ways. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you pick the New England region. You need to tell me 2 examples of how that region grew economically because of its geography, right? It's the physical land, the rivers, the access to the oceans, things like that each region may or may not have, and the climate, okay? The temperature, the weather, the amount of rainfall, right? The length of winters, right? That particular region has, okay? So that's what you need to be thinking of. And again, 2 regions, 2 reasons, 2 regions, 2 examples. Okay. I have a couple tips as well that I'll share on this next slide here. If you need a refresher, where you can find that information in the class is back in week 2, the 9:15 lesson materials, as well as week 3, the 9:20 lesson materials. Okay, this was split kind of between 2 weeks. Chapters 3 and 4 in the book. In particular, a handy little map here, I'll pull my book up here, you probably can't see it too well, is on page 87 in your book. Now I did have some screenshots of this in our live sessions, so you can look there as well if you don't want to pull the book up. But that might be very helpful because it shows you the regions and breaks down a little bit of, the economies in each region. Just as a reminder, and this is a confusion some students have had, this is a constructed response, not a text-dependent analysis. You should use your knowledge from the quarter to answer the question, okay? In a text-dependent analysis, I'm looking for you to go back to the text and use the text, right? This is a constructed response. I want it to be well written. I want you to be using factual evidence from your resources, the course slides, the textbook, but you don't necessarily have to reference the textbook in your responses. And I kind of gave a suggestion there. You could say as covered in class this quarter, okay, and then provide some of that evidence, okay? What I'm going to be looking for, you can see here, is if you understand the connection between geography and climate and economics, okay? And again, this is going back to the colonial period, which we covered all the way back at the start of the year, but we're going to see those economic differences between North and South become even more critical and more important as we move, through quarter 2 and we get to that Civil War point. Okay, so I want to see that you have an understanding of the basis, right? This country's beginnings as a colony. How did those colonies form differently, which is going to lead to the Civil War when we get there. Okay. It is open until 11/3. Again, I'm so sorry I haven't gotten feedback out. It's definitely, on my to-do list, to get that out to everybody. Proofread. If we look at the rubric very quickly, and I'm just about out of time because I only have a minute or so left in the video. 4 points are simply for your answer being in complete sentences and having less than 2 spelling or grammar errors. Okay, I always hate when I read a really good response and I have to dock you, a few points in this structure and style category because it's easy, especially online, to do that little proofreading. Okay, read your response out loud. Have somebody else take a quick glance at it. Again, I know this isn't an English class, but in terms of a constructed response where we're looking for those kind of things, you need to make sure that you do take that time to proofread. All right, so at this point, just remember, week 8 quiz locks at midnight. I did put all of the review slides for week 8 quiz in the course. They are under week 8 weekly assignments like they normally are. The political parties checkpoint for week 7, that will be locked on Sunday as well if it's not done. Remember, that's the Nearpod one. So if you haven't, gone into Nearpod and done everything in Nearpod, you got to do that to get those points. Okay. And then, of course, the assignments from week 8, but those are open through next week as well. So enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful, Halloween. Have fun. Be safe if you're going out. Looking forward to hearing about it in class on Monday. If you need anything, please email me. Bye, everyone.